Yesterday, there was something interesting about the Carmelists. So, as I said, might as well, since I was in Eretz Yisrael, look at a few things. Like, it's like fascinating. Like yesterday, we're talking about the level of Emunah B'tochen that was expected from Chizkiyahu Malach Yehuda. Is it the fact that he did Al Piteva, that he moved the Gichon, and they had Nissim when it flows? Is it good, or he was expected to even have a higher level of B'tochen to, like it's unbelievable, like according to Chachmei Hashem. So, okay.
I would say
mute is good.
I would say B'tochen, just one extra B'tochen.
Or maybe a B'tochen, the Loite Yidden and the generation. I could say a lot of things.
Like when the guy not started giving a shir about Emunah B'tochen, and after the shir he started walking, and a big dog came to him and started running. So people said, "Hey, where's your B'tochen?" He said, "Extra B'tochen."
So, you know what? Before we start the Shulchan Aruch today, I figured another Inyan. I was like fascinated. I was looking and I did a search on another place that I went to Yisrael with my children. Again, a new place. I've never been there before. And in Israel, there's 63 or 69 national parks. So, there's plenty of places to go to. So this is a Gan Leumi Bet Guvrin Marsha. Mareisha. So there's several interesting. The ones.
Ramat.
No. This is it's like a half hour from Bet Shemesh. It's in the Israeli side on the Green Line. It's like maybe a 10-minute drive to Gush Etzion from there.
It's in the Shtachim.
It's not in the Shtachim yet. It's still
in Israel side.
Still in Israel side. Another 10 minutes.
You're
towards the Mediterranean, towards Yerushalayim.
Under Yerushalayim, under Bet Shemesh. It's under Bet Shemesh.
Towards Tel Aviv.
Yeah. It's closer to the Mediterranean. Yeah. It's not so far from the Mediterranean, but it's like sort of under Yerushalayim. If you look at a map, you have Yerushalayim, you have this, and then okay. So basically, it's mentioned when the Yidden went into Eretz Yisrael with Yeshua ben Nun. It's mentioned in the Sefer Yeshua. It's mentioned in the Sefer Yeshua, one of the 39 cities that were in Yehuda. There's an interesting thing at Pi Halacha, which I once spoke about, which is that you're supposed to do Kriya at any of the cities of Yehuda that are Necharav. So the poskim say today we don't know. Lud today is beside Yerushalayim.
It's not the same Lud.
It's not the same Lud. Modi'in today is the same Modi'in. Beitar is the same Beitar.
Maybe sitting near it, but not exactly it.
No, they just took a place.
Some places
the
Mamish named it. Some places are closed. But a place like this that they proved Mamish from Parvi V'chulu that this is the city that Moresha, which is brought in Tanakh and Perek Yudalid, one of the 39 cities or 29 cities that belonged to Shevet Yehuda that were conquered in the Shevesh HaCholku, Beferish, and they bring proof that this is one of the 29 cities. This is Moresha. There's so the Chayr Apidin you'd be Muchiv to Rais Kri over there, just like for Yerushalayim. It's an interesting thing.
What's the backdrop of this?
So what's the story of the city? So so here in this booklet they say it's mentioned in Yeshua in Perek Tezvav Pasuk Mem Daled. But I looked there and the word is mentioned once. It's one of the 29 cities, nothing interesting. So I did a search on the city. There's a lot of more interesting things in the city, and there was a lot of history to the city. It was this for hundreds of years. It was a Jewish city. Eventually, it was conquered by the Chashmonaim. Eventually, Yochanon Hurkanus, the last of the big kings of the Chashmonaim, conquered it, and then because there were Goyim that were there. Because after there was a lot of Mesyavnim and Goyim that were there, it was a very important city. So he conquered it. And then eventually the Romans turned it into a very important city until the Middle Ages, where it faded. The Romans changed the name and had a few different names. At some point it was called Beis Guvrin, which is mentioned in the Shas and the Madroshim. Rabbi Yonason, Rabbi Yehuda ben Yaakov lived there. Another few Tanoim and Amaroim lived there. But this is all the information I'm getting in this booklet. And then the Crusaders lived there. There was this. There was a city from the days of the Shiva Mammon, which Eden conquered, and they have in the time throughout the whole first base of Mikdash, and then also in the second base of Mikdash, and then it was an important city at Tam Chashmonaim, and then even though it was a Goyish city, later there was a yeshiva there with several of the Tanoim and Amoraim that lived there. So I did a search, and I found several things about Moresha very interesting. And two full prokim about, I don't know why they don't mention it here, two full prokim about Moresha in Divrei Hayom. How often do we learn Divrei Hayom? I printed it out so we can look at it. Vayas also Atoy Vayosher. Oh, before we start, interesting.
This is one of the affair that were in the middle on the Parsha?
No, this is never read in Torah. But it's a very interesting story. It's a moedidik story. It's really a story about Bitochen, just like yesterday was. It's an unbelievable story about Bitochen.
Where's it located?
This, like I said, it's a 20-minute drive from Bet Shemesh. It's a very lush land, and all around there's farms. It's like the breadbasket of Israel, Kipshutai. Mamish green all over the place. It's a huge park. It's not so developed. So you go like with a car, you have a parking lot, and you walk and you go here and there. Then you drive another 2-3 minutes. There's a parking lot. You go over here and there. 3-4. The Romans had it. There's a huge theater there with.
It's bigger than the Renana Park. The park in Renana.
I've never been in Renana Park.
That's like Central Park. It's so beautiful.
It's a national park,
No.
historic park.
I don't think.
I only-
It's
No, I'm only going to historic parks. I have 63. I have to cover. I didn't cover even half of them. So before I start going to
City parks.
city parks, yeah. So this park, actually, there's beautiful palaces under that is there. It's funny when I was there. So there was a group of kids, from Flatbush somewhere, and they were all excited. So they have in this park, you pay a few dollars, a few shekel, and they give you a shovel. There's so much to excavate that they don't care. They just they give you a shovel, and you could shovel, and whatever you find, you put into the baskets. Anyway, it gets shipped off, even if they have. So they have these big baskets, with bags that later get picked up, and people. It's like a puzzle. Like all these places they find, they're shards, right? And they put them out, and hundreds of people work on them. And they what a puzzle it is. It's like a 500-piece puzzle.
Wow.
And they put the puzzles together, and then once they put the klicheres or the kli even together, a lot of times there's writings on them and there's information. So anyway, that was interesting. Anyway, one of the interesting things in this place was, I can see the picture here. Oh, the biggest from antiquity, the biggest by far, is in Eretz Yisrael in the days of the days of the Chumash, the days of the Tanakh, and also the days Tanoim, pigeons were a very big business. Today we eat chicken. You go into a Jewish supermarket, you're not going to see in the frozen section pigeons.
Well, they used it for communications, didn't they?
They used it to eat. They used it for korbanos, carbon oil of
They put it in my
yoda.
mother's stomach to get rid of what happened.
There was a
Right?
huge business. Forget the hepatitis. It was a huge business. It was a huge man of Eretz Yisrael. Now, in the Mishnah of the Gemara, there's a whole if a person sells to someone else, okay, right, this shoivach and that shoivach, and if he sells them, how many of the children could you take? You have to leave some of them still to be able to multiply. They used to have caves, and they used to make holes in the caves, and they used to have that there were. They used to have
Pigeons.
right.
In Masada, I think you see.
Yeah, you have it, but this has the biggest in antiquity. So there's one place that you go down, 3 times the size of Beis Menachem Mendel, underground.
Cool.
Thousands in the wall, and it's well preserved.
They would put them in.
So there was a woman there that was a frum woman that's a tour guide. We weren't paying for a tour. So I mentioned that, maybe these are used for Beis Hamikdash. So she was a big lama. She was very far from the Beis Hamikdash. Nah, but it's not true. We know the Mishnah says that they would bring korbanos. They used to bring oil from Yochanon, and they used to bring tvasim, shagavim, rechavim, mechevren. In the Beis Hamikdash, they were very particular to bring korbanos that were moshubach mefoyer adiyad, and they would go, even though there was a distance, to go all the way up in the Golul to Yochanan to get the oil, or go to around Yerushalayim. There were goats and sheep, but it doesn't matter. They used to go dafka to Chevron to get rechelim shagabeim rechavas. So we don't know yes or no, but I'm just saying they discovered that this city Moresha was a major place of raising pigeons. Major. I mean, I think that in a place like this, they have children, whatever. The harvest of a cave like this was tens of thousands, and it's like, and they harvest them, and then there's another generation of a couple of times a year. It's like unbelievable. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Shine. So now, what's interesting about the city of Moresha is that I found that there's 2 parokim in Divrei Hayomim that's not mentioned here, but actually very, very interesting about the city of Moresha. Also was the son of Avihu, which is the son of Rechavam, which is the son of Shlomo, which is the son of David Melech Yisrael. So also did Toy v'Yosher, v'Yoser es ha-mizbach es ha-necher, v'ha-bomes, v'Shabbos, v'Matzeves, v'Yigadeis ha-Shedim. That he got rid of the Avodah Zaros. We see from the Tanakh that unfortunately many generations Yidden had this. It's hard for us to understand. The Gemara says that Chazal killed the Yetzirah of Avodah Zarah, but they had this unbelievable quest for having an idol. Why would someone be so stupid? But it's hard for us to understand. That's just the way it was. It's just the way it was. Even Yerushalayim. Not to say Michigan today,
We have somebody.
or people, or the people today idol certain characters or sports or other things that the Michigan.
Have a lot of them.
A lot of avodah zaros. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. A lot of, and yesterday I mentioned that there was a parking lot in what
Ir
they call
David.
today Ir David
Yeah.
that now is excavated. So we went around and we saw a couple of guys that were working there, mamish working really hard. One of them was an American. So we got into conversation. So how many years? He's working here for 4 years already. I said, any interesting finds? So he says, all I'm finding here is avodah zaros.
I know.
So they might not only be from Yidden, because unfortunately there were other. But the emphasis that we see from the Tanakh that there was many times that Yidden had avodah zarah. So the Divrei Hayom says there also was a king that was Yoser HaMizbachas HaNeicher Ve'Shaber HaMatzeves Ve'Yigadei HaShenim Ve'Yimr L'Huda Lidus Hashem Alakeh V'Sei L'Asat Le'Rev HaMitzvah Ve'Yosem Kol HaYudas HaBomes V'Chamonim V'Tishket V'Amlocha L'Fonim V'Yirin Ore Metzure B'Yehuda Kishak Ta'oret V'Enim M'chom V'Shenim V'Kashem V'Niach Hashem Loi V'Em L'Yehuda Nimnes Ore Me'ela V'Nosef Chayim V'Gdolim L'Sayim B'Richim V'Edenu Oretz L'Fanenu Ki Derash Nas Hashem Alakenu Derash Dem V'Yonach Lanu Misav V'Yivnu V'Yatzlichu. They were Matzliach. V'Los Achayel Noisei Sina V'Roimach Yehuda Sholosh Meis Eluf. He had an army. Remember, his kingdom is only Yehuda and Benjamin. So from Yehuda he had 300,000 soldiers. Over Benjamin Noisei Mogam V'Doiche Keshes Mosai Mishmoina Olav Kolela Geber Echad. So he only has close more than 500,000 soldiers. Not bad. Not bad. It's a huge army. Vayetze Eleim Zerach HaKushi. The Farshim say he's from Egypt. He's coming straight up from Egypt. B'chayel Elef Alofim Markov Sholosh Meis Vayove Ad Moresha. You see?
Until Marisha.
He came. So apparently Moresha was an important city. If you look at a map, Mitzrayim is on the bottom, and you have Moresha, and then is Yerushalayim. So this is like
About how many miles from Yerushalayim?
how many miles? It's probably about a half-hour drive. So it was about maybe 20.
Could be 10 miles.
Yeah, it's like from the bottom you come up.
Oh,
Is Moresha, and then another 25 kilometers would be Yerushalayim. Mamish on top of Moresha.
In other words, he came
Before.
from-
Also is not waiting for the war to come to Yerushalayim. He met him in Moresha. And this is a very important war that's going to happen right outside of Moresha. Vayovi Osa Lefonav, Vayetze Osa Lefonav, Vayarch Malchama Begate Tzfasa. There is a gay, which till today has a little bit of an Arabic name that sounds like Gate Tzfasa, a valley outside the city of Moresha. Vayikra Osa Lashem Alakot.
In the Tzofon Achmor.
So it could be, but the Meforshim that I also say Tzfasa is Poshet a gay called Tzfasa.
Oh.
But I hear what you're saying. Could be Vayikra also Hashem alakov, and also called to the Eibushter Vayom Hashem Einim Chalazer Bein Rav Le'Ein Koyach. With you, there is no difference to exactly that you could help to Ein Koyach as much as you can help to army which is Rav, which is very big and strong. An army which is Ein Koyach, has no Koyach, to you is equal to give the Tzlachet to either one of them. So therefore, Azrein Hashem Alakeinu Ke'alacha Nishananu B'Shim Chavonu Alahaman Azeh Hashem Alakeinu Ata Al Yatzer Imcha Enosh. That Meforshim say Al Yatzer Imcha Enosh means that Enosh means a weak person. There's Odom Ish Gever Enosh. Enosh is the lowest of the four expressions. So Rashi says that Al Yatzer Imcha Enosh means that even a person who is an Enosh, who's weak, Al Yatzer, there's nothing to hold back for the Eibishter to make that even an Enosh, even a person who's weak, should be Matzliach. This expression in Yiddish of the Eibishter will Shista Bezem. And the Eibishter wants a broomstick turns into a gun. So that's what he's saying. Ato, you the Eibishter Al Yatzer Imcha Onush, there's nothing to hold you back that even an Onush, a weakling, should be Matzliach. Vayigav Hashem es akushim lifnei Asa, lifnei Yehuda, vayanusa akushim. The Eibishter made a miracle. The Navi doesn't describe what happened, but just that the fact was that there was lakilu a magefa, there was something that happened to the Goyim, that all of a sudden they went away. Vayir defem Asa v'al ad legror. Vayipol mekushim leila michir kenishbru lifnei Hashem lifnei machneh vayisu shol harba moed. So they ran all the way to Gror. Where exactly is Gror? So I don't know if we know today where Gror is, but if I should just make a map, like a Yukol map, but just this is, I would say, is Yerushalayim. This is Moresha, and this would be Gror, and this would be Mitzrayim.
Go we mentioned almost Bereshit.
Near Beersheba.
Yeah, Bereshit.
In this week's Parsha, actually.
Huh? Right. I mean, obviously, it's not on a straight line the way I'm making it on this piece of paper. Whatever, but there's a squiggle here. Right. But I'm just saying, here's Yerushalayim, here's
Beersheba.
this is Geror, and here's Mitzrayim. So he went, this would be probably, he chased them all the way down to Geror, I would say it's probably 50 kilometers or more. So here's an army of over 1 million Yidden, and they're chasing after the Kushim, and they're killing them. And Vayaku is called Orim Savivis Geror. Why those cities? Because Geror are Plishtim, and they're always against the Yidden. So now that they're already killing the Mitzrayim, why not Chaparayna kill a couple of Plishtim on the way? It's just free of charge. Yeah. Because all of a sudden the Pachad Hashem was on the Goyim. Vayavoizu es kol ha'orim ki vize rabba hoysavahem v'gam olim mikne hiku, that the Bedouins, whatever, those people that were in the Ole Mikne, also them they hit. Vayishbu tzoyin l'roi v'gmalim v'yeshu v'Yerushalayim. V'az hayo ben oided hoysal of ruach lekimu zanovi v'yeitzei lifnei Asa. And he went out to greet Asa as he's coming back from the war with this unbelievable success. Vayomer loy shma'uni Asa. Oh, here's a copy. We're in this next Pedic now. Pedic Tezvav. He says, Shma'uni Asa v'chol Yehuda v'Yamin Listen up. Hashem imochem b'yoyschen imay. The Eibishter was with you because you're with him. V'im tidirshu yimotzel lachem. And if you will go after the Eibishter to be doirish the Eibishter, he will be available to you. V'im tazvu yazav eschem. If you'll go away from the Eibishter will go away from you. Yomim rabim liyisrael. If chas v'shalom you'll go away from the Eibishter, there'll be many days by Yidden. Lolo lekeyemes, lolo koyem moira, lolo toira.
He's not saying that the word, he's not saying past tense.
No, he's saying what would be in the future. Yeah, it's funny in the Lashon. Rashi says, that this will be, not that it was. The Matsuda says, "Hine yiu yomim rabim liyisrael sheyavdu leloi lekeyemes," and chas v'shalom that will be if they won't be dovuk to the Eibishter. And also Rashi says the lo koyim moira means the she'ein mish shoyel am shum dvar Torah, mishumochi lo yorel es chakoinim. So the Metzudas adds that it says in the pasuk that the kohen has a job, the yorim mishpatecha layankem esaroschal Yisrael, that the kohenim had the job to teach Torah to the Jewish people. So if the Yidden won't be dovik neibishter, the first punishment is they will not feel the presence of a Lakim Emes. The second punishment is the lo kohen, they will not have a teacher. And if they not have a teacher, they're not going to have Torah. By Yoshav, B'tzar lo yal Hashem ala keisra v'kshuv yimotzlam. If they'll do tshuva, the Eibishter will make himself available to them. Ubita mehem and shalom la yoytzev alabo. In those days, until they do tshuva, there will not be shalom. Ki muhumes rabois. There's going to be a lot of mahumas because they didn't do tshuva. That's if they won't be dovuk to the Eibishter. However, ato chisku, make yourself strong. There's a schar to this that you're dovuk to the Eibishter. מכל ארץ יהודה ונyomen מן האורים אשר לוקד מהר אפרים ויחדש את מזבח השם אשר לפני אולם השם. So when he heard the nevuah, he gathered even more strength to get rid of every avodah zarah that was over the land of Eretz Yisrael. Vayikbot es kol Yehuda benyomen v'agorim emoem me'Ephraim u'Menashe u'Shimon ki noflo alav Yisrael aroi b'yirosim keshem alakav imei. That when the Yidden saw that the success that Asa Navi had, so also from the other Shvatim fell in and they decided to be drawn to the kingdom of Yehuda ben Yamin, and mainly from the Shevet Ephraim, Menashe, and Shimon. It's interesting. Based on this, we always think that every one of us is either from Yehuda or Binyamin. But you see from the pasuk here that there were other Shvatim. Maybe not a lot, but there were a number of other Shvatim that were also nimshach into the kingdom of Yehuda, as the pasuk says, from Ephraim, from Menashe, and from Shimon. Vayikobtzu Yerushalayim b'chodesh hashlishi l'shnas chameshes shel malchus Asa v'yizbuch el Hashem b'yamu min hashol leviu bakor shvameos 700 and bull, b'tzoin and sheep shivas alafim 7,000. Vayavoy b'avritz lidrish es Hashem alak ke'avoiseyem. They made a shvua to go into the bris Eibishter with the whole heart. They said in their promise that any person that's not going to be doidish to go close to the Eibishter, you must and they're all happy. They did it with the entire heart. No one was forcing them to do it. Who was
it referring to?
To all the people.
All the people?
That not only the people swore because the king had called them, but they really, the pasuk says that they really did it from their whole heart and they were happy with it. It wasn't like there was coercion involved, that the king said they should come, so therefore they came. That the pasuk says testimony that really every person did it with their whole heart.
Okay, thank you.
Even the mother of the king stopped doing avodah zarah, which is strange. Like, how could it be that his mother was involved in avodah zarah? So you see how strong the Avodah Zarah was in certain generations. That even his mother, I'm unfortunate to say, his mother, his grandmother, V'gam Macha, because Macha was really not his mother, his grandmother, the daughter of Avshalom.
Like Avraham Avinu brought
Right.
his father idols, so he's doing.
Atazoi. Hesira migvira shirotz salashera miflotzitz. Vayichris osas miflatzta. He broke it. Vayodak, and he crushed it. Vayisref, and he burnt it. Benachal kidrei. It's a very funny avodah zarah. Rashi says that, well, what kind of avodah zarah with this? They had very strange avodah zarahs. Lefisha osas salashera mifletzes lamayla tavosa. Mifla litzanusa. Mifletzet is like two words. Mifla litzanusa. Zachrus osas salol etzelim voice in the velasle. She carved out of wood a man, and she would sleep with him. That was an avodah zarah for Asheda. Meshuggah. You didn't know that Meshuggah could get so Meshuggah. That was an avodah zarah for Asheda.
In water sugar in that they used to be all.
Right. How could they do Balpoa? It's like crazy. Right. Right. Okay. And the Navi says, however, the Yidden still had bombas. And Rashi says, bombas not for avodah zarah. Rashi says, a bombas yochid shurgelu lakif alayim l'shmayim mishachor v'shilat shenimna abayis v'onshim alay koris. Because the Torah says, the ones the Eibushter picks a place, which will be the Menucha and the Nachla, they're not allowed to bring a bomba. Until the days of Yerushalayim, a Jew was allowed to have a bomba. That means a Yid was allowed to go in his backyard and put together a thing of rocks and cement and make a fire on it and make a carbon for the Eibushter. An offering to Hashem Yisborech. But the Torah says that once the Eibush is going to pick, that once the Eibush picks a place, you're not allowed to bring. You have to v'shama taviu. That's where you have to bring your zvachim. And if you're going to bring your carbon and elsewhere, punishes kodesh. It's a terrible sin.
And at what point did that start? Did it start as soon as
Shlomo Melech inaugurated the Beis Hamikdash?
Hashem didn't start that at the Mishkan?
No.
It was started at the Beit
The
HaMikdash.
rule started when the Beis Hamikdash was built.
Okay.
Until then, especially when Shiloh was destroyed, which was period of.
They didn't have a place with the Bingo.
Right, so the Torah says you're allowed to. Once Yerushalayim was picked as the place, the Beis Hamikdash was built, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to bring any carbon in any other place besides Yerushalayim.
All right.
That's why it says History of Bombs.
Right.
Destroy all of them.
So Rak Levav also Shalom Kol Yom V'Yovi Es Koche Ovi V'Kodoshov Beis Elokim Kesav Azav Achelam. Everything that was dedicated for the Eibushter, he brought a taka that should be brought into the Beis Hamikdash. Okay.
Myron didn't have a word.
Right, that was quiet. And then it tells about another war that happened that he was also matzliachim, but whatever. And that's the last story. The next Perek is the last story about us, but it doesn't happen in Moresha. And today we're focusing on Moresha. So this whole story happens in Gates Fossa, which is right next to the city of Moresha. And the Torah tells us this is an unbelievable story that this was a bigger again the key word and the key in the whole story is that he turns to the Eibishter and he says, I give it into your hands. There's interesting that this story is told in the Sefer of Yosifim. Again, because I'm just doing a search, so things come up. And he uses the Lashon that it fell Rabim biyad me'atim.
Hanukkah.
Yeah, exactly, like Hanukkah. He uses that expression, but he's really
Also,
telling.
it's by the davening. Hashem, you have a prayer. Do a
Right.
big arm, a small arm.
Right,
Shmona also is
Exactly.
people against
Right.
us.
right. So he uses exactly that lotion, the lotion that's in that we use Lagabe Hanukkah. But also here we see in this story that the key was that he had an unbelievable amuna, and he turns to the Eibishter and he says, "Vayikra Osel Hashem, Vayomer Hashem ein im chalaza beinav lebein koyach." Rabbi Ma'atim, it makes no difference. Maybe I told him it doesn't make a difference. And Alecha Nishanu, we lean on you. And Taka, Eibishter made a big miracle.
Right to the story that we went to fight them over there. But yeah, like the innocent was mercy feeling.
Yeah,
He didn't wait. Also didn't wait till they came to China.
no, he didn't wait. Right, he went out. That's a interesting thing. Yeah, listen, you don't wait for the fight to come to Yerushalayim. You go out. You don't wait. You don't wait. And anyway, this is a fantastic story.
Yeah.
Which happens because he has such b'tochen in Hashem that the Eibishter makes it for him. So this is the story of the city of Malaysia. So that's Hashem. As I said,
Very young. This is back the best story.
as I said, the best story is missing out of here. The best story is missing.
Story.
Yeah. But like I said, the interesting thing is that since this is one of the cities in Yehuda that's brought in Tanakh, the question would be, if a person goes there today, maybe a taka be mechuyev to do kriya. No, they don't have the minute to do it. I don't know why. Even Yerushalayim don't do it. I don't know why. I asked every time I ask, and I know.
Because Yerushalayim is not destroyed.
No, the Makam HaMikdash. You get to Makam
Well,
HaMikdash.
people do
But Lubavitch doesn't. I don't know why.
it. Oh,
I don't know why. I say all the psukim that are said to say, and
I don't know why I did it.
yeah, well, that's the din. The din is to do it. I don't know. I can't say what the husband, but anyway, this is the story of Bet Relation.
Wow, incredible.
Very nice.
It wasn't as nice as other places, but just every place in Eretz Yisrael is special. If you ever go there with Tzvi and with Shmuley and Surli, pay a few shekel and give them the shovels, and they'll have a good time. It's a shame.
A lot of kids have found, young kids,
Yeah, kids found things.
7 years old.
Yeah.
7. Their eyes are open and they're.
No, but this place have a special program. They let the kids take shovels, and then they give them like these tables, and they sort it out, and the pieces they go and they put.
You might find a vessel that says
Right.
Kind of like pieces of pottery.
They find a piece of pottery. They find this. They can find jewelry. They can find beads.
you know how to read the letter from 2000 years ago.
Right.
Special.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's learn a little bit Shulchan Aruch.
Yeah.
That's I'd like to do some Navi once in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it becomes alive when you go to a place.
Yeah.
Were there a lot
Who
of
remembers a city? No, there was no one there besides two buses of Arabs. As soon as they showed up, I left. I didn't feel that safe. I mean, Israeli Arabs, Ishmaeli Arabs. I don't know.
at Malaysia,
Yeah, I don't know why they came. What would they come to Malaysia for?
because no Jews came, no tourists seen them.
I didn't see another soul.
So is an Arab village there now or what? What do you
Is there a village there?
I don't know.
Tell or what?
No, I went to the city. You pay like 12 shekel to get into the national park, and you drive, and there's like a few parking lots, and each place you go out and you go look at
So you
the.
see the archaeology to that tell, that's what it.
Yeah, yeah,
Why did you choose that place?
because it's a place I haven't done yet. So that's why I picked it. Okay, David shall help him that David should rebuild the Mitzvah Hashem. Hashem is Baruch. Every one of these cities have unbelievable kedusha in them. And this is from the original cities that from the original 29 or 39 cities that was settled by the Yidden and Shevesh HaKosher, Shevesh HaCholku, and was unbelievable. Nisim happened over there in the days of Asa and in the days of the Maccabees, and later was a place of Tanoim and Amoraim. So the Eibush will help that Bevis Mashiach Tzidkenu will be rebuilt.
Mhm.
I mean,
When you drive from Tel Aviv to Yerushalayim, the highway, there's a place where they said here Yeshua stood and said, Shem Dome. Exactly where, but
The Geves, yeah. But these places that they discover cities, I mean,
That's the name.
yeah, it's like
they find a gold coin with
they
the
find coins and they
stain.
find pottery and they find. Okay. Yesterday we
In
learned
Minnesota, they found filling this from 2,000 years ago.
right. They found pieces.
Filling, mamish filling.
Unbelievable.
It's exactly the same way that we
And they found the shul. They found a place that clearly was used as a
There?
Beit Knesset. No, in Masada.
Minnesota.
oh, and it's,
Oh.
yeah, sure, I've been to the
2,000 years.
It's unbelievable.
This is wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they found a mikvah, so Yigal Yadin was completely Hiloni. So he brought an expert in mikvah from Yerushalayim, from Neida Haridit. So then he went down there with his whole Haridi outfit in the burning sun there, and he took his tape measure and he measured it out, and he says, and then he said it was kosher l'mahadrin min hamahadrin, the mikvah.
Right, but the question when you go down there, you see how many mikvahs.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Because everybody want to be pure before they come to Beis Hamikdash. So right there in Yerushalayim,
Right. It's
Well,
unbelievable.
places for the stables, for the horses, and for the cow, and this, and then
And mikvahs. It's unbelievable.
They're probably owned by family, these ones.
No, these mikvahs they think were public. The ones outside the Beis Hamikdash were
Right
public
outside,
were
yeah,
built
yeah,
as
yeah.
public mikvahs. They were
The
built
small
as
ones, it's not like private.
right. They have like where today is in the Rova Yudit. They say the rich Kohanim live there, and that those are probably private mikvahs. But the mikvahs outside the Beis Hamikdash, it seems there's a new tour right now that opened 2-3 years ago. That there's a tunnel tour which goes straight,
Wow.
and then there's another that goes, which they think was a like sort of an unbelievable bridge that went up to the Arabais.
No, that's enough.
Beautiful tour. And over there, they also show that it was the parts that they uncovered that it wasn't stam a ramp going up to the Makom HaMikdash. It was beautiful
so wide.
and there was a place where they had like a water fountain, fountains that were like spritching out of the wall, and then there was like a whole to do. And then there's a place where there is a few big mikvahs, again, which they assume that people were going to Makom HaMikdash, so they needed a public mikvah and they had a big mikvah there.
And that place where they put the wood underneath to warm the water, and this is the technology 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, beautiful. It's not stam. Then it's
When he says, here's something interesting to show that it was public, but those mikvahot on the steps going down, so they had a short mechitzah in the middle of the steps. So the people who were tamei went down, and then the people who were ta'or came up.
yeah.
They couldn't mix.
They shouldn't get.
There is one of those mikvahs
All
that
of
are
them are like that.
No, they're with two entrances.
the ones that there's one now that there's a big mikveh that they show in this new tour that I didn't see. They should have that.
The one at Shiloh.
No, the one that's
Underneath
in the coastal tours. They now opened up 2 years ago a new tour, which here's the coastal. So instead of going straight this way, you're going this way.
Mhm.
They uncovered a part of what was used to be a ramp that used to go up to the Harabais
Were you talking about the?
behind the coastal Amarovi,
with the bathroom,
where the bathrooms are there.
Oh, that's an old story.
But that tour is only opened up for 2-3 years now.
dying now.
Well, where do you sign up for that?
Where you sign up for the coastal tours. Okay, let's learn quickly something from the Shulchan Aruch from what we learned yesterday. Page Tafresh Pei Tes. Siman Shin Mem Ches. Din Moshe Keli Meshus L'Reshus Boy Gimel Seifim.
What page? No, sorry.
Page Tafresh Peites.
Sameach.
Oh, Peitem.
Yeah,
Shmuel, can you pass me a
Simon-
Shulchan Aruch?
it's open already.
Thank you.
The person standing in a shusayach, the public, private property, right? See, Yod the Malay paid it, and he took out his hand, and in the hand is fruits. Sechatore Tvachim, I feel a caramelist within 10 Tvachim, which is a Rishus Rabim, or even he pointed out a place which is not Mamash Rishus Rabim, but a caramelist. Also, Lachzira, he's not allowed to bring it back. I feel derech l'mayla masora, not allowed to bring his hand back in. It's a punishment, as we'll say in a minute. Until Motzei Shabbos. Shekunsuch coming. It was a punishment that Chacham gave him. It was a punishment. And there was a punishment. They made a punishment. And in this way, it's going to hurt him, and he'll remember next year, or next day, or next Shabbos not to do it again. It's a knas. Remember, we had a whole pilpul yesterday. It's a knas. If it's just regular knas, or it's a knas. It's like, punishment. Came late to class, pay $2. If it's a shoygig, they didn't get punished, only if he did it intentionally. He can't put his hand with the fruit to a different property. Which is an unusual case. So keneged zu verechev, Rishus Ram mafsik beneim, I feel him b'du ta'achat. Shein oirich Rishus Ram mafsik beneim. Rishus Ram doesn't pass through them. Rishus Ram malachas lifneim v'loy beineim. It's two separate Rishus Yachid, but Rishus Ram is not following in between them, only in front of them. Giving from one Rishus Ram, it's because the Gemara says that they were traveling on wagons, and they were going on the wagon. So one kohen might have been passing a kaddish to another kohen on this. So this is the Rishus Yochid, this is the Rishus Yochid, and here's the Rishus Rabbi. But what happens if these two Rishus Yochids are here next, and the Rishus Rabbi is here, and he put his hand out, but there's no Rishus Rabbi in between here. So l'chayr shouldn't be a problem. Afa became also chum kan kadei shaloin tiskayim hashafto. Shech niskavan lifnes aperik pedis mechotze zu shimnat eloi lo ishitem mechotze acheres and niskayim hashafto. V'yesh lik ze shem apam acheres yeshlich from shusarabim. Avok shemachzir lo isa chotze given shlo niskayim hashafto and lik ze klum baze. They said we're going to give him a punishment. What's his punishment? His hand has to be hanging out, or if it was b'shoigeg, we say you could put your hand back, but we're never going to let him if his intention was to get the fruit from here to here. Even though even if he would put the fruit from here to here, it wouldn't be oivesa deraisa. But still, they didn't want it to sky machshavta. They don't want to sky machshavta, because if it's the sky machshavta,
What did he do? He did it there for Ram?
not derech the Rishus Ram is in the front. So really, it's two Rishus Yochid.
What's the problem?
It has to. So
I can't put my hands in my neighbor's window if I have a window connecting my hands.
yeah, there's a shy. You have to make a native. And then he said, even
There is a neighbor.
no, he's saying.
It's not from one.
He said, "I feel ashamed shalosh ein tzorich."
Right.
I feel ashamed shalosh ein tzorich.
Why can't I put my hand into my other window? If it's Rosh Hashanah, it's together. Just around.
The only thing is the Gzeir. Shema would do it on a Shidavim, not Moshe Derech.
It's there, so it's my, I'm in Rosh Hashanah.
No, there's a separate Rishus Yochid. He's talking about here. And there's two houses.
Right.
Say your house and your neighbor's
Right.
house.
Right.
So naturally you'd have to make a native between.
Yeah.
But what happens if you own both houses?
On your neighbor.
So you don't need a native. but it's a separate issue, say Yochid, and the Chum didn't want it should be in a sky machshavte. So you're asking, what did he do wrong?
I can't go to my backyard and pass over something from my.
No. It's. I hear what you're asking. So it has to be over here that there is a chiluk. It wasn't a reshus rabim in between, but there is some chiluk reshuyas. Not that they're.
I don't want in the same house.
Right.
In other words, this is a real reshus rabim. Here, there's a makom ptur or something. It's talking about there's something in between.
An alleyway.
Yeah, that either has the din of a makom ptur, or maybe even not as bad as a karmelis. Maybe even if it was a makom ptur, that sounds like.
Right.
But for it, it's a separate reshus, and there's a chiluk reshus here. This is when it's a reshus rabim. Aval metzila karmelis. Muter lo shita afilu lachotza acheres shebekarmelis lo ygazu gezerezu. If it was Nakarmelis, they didn't make this Gzeira. Mishum Shigzeira Legzeira. Because
Rabbi, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
You said a couple of weeks ago, if I'm holding something, let's say I'm holding a sitter, I'm not allowed to go from the shul to the porch to the front lawn in front of the shul. That would be considered carrying, right?
Right.
No, we went through this already. I made an Erev.
No, he's saying to go out
Here,
on the front lawn.
Here.
Oh,
Here,
okay.
Beit
On the
Menachem
front
Mendel.
lawn.
Beit Menachem Mendel.
I thought it was talking about our.
No. Here.
no.
Yeah. So
Is it a
like,
shul
for example, like what we're talking about here, if I would walk down, I would stand on the last step and I would hand something out to somebody, that would be a problem.
That would be a problem. Because,
Even if it's the front lawn.
right. Yeah, it would be a problem. That would be a problem.
Yeah, the front lawn, though, I think it's a family because it's a bit of.
Okay, it would be a Carmelist maybe, but still.
Yes.
This is a Carmelist. Someone let us.
Huh?
He's saying that this is a Carmelist over here.
Yeah,
I could do it.
yes,
Only it's just around.
yeah. Okay, let's stop the Bible.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Hello, Rabbi Fishman. Shalom Aleichem. How are you? See you. Thank you, Rabbi.
We have a menu?
I actually already davened, but I'll be happy to stay and answer.
Yeah, we are exactly 10, so please.
Oh, one more thing. By the way, the city of Meresha, according to, is the city of the Navi Micha.
Really?
Micha Avdecha.
Cool.
That's what it's called.
Right. So I forgot to mention it before.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. We mentioned him. Micha Avdecha, Omer Lefanecha.
Wow, that's cool.
We don't see it in the one word.
No, not here. Not here. Where is it mentioned that Micha is from Russia?
You're asked tonight.
Thank
You
you.
don't have to down by the Elmwood.
Tonight.
Thanksgiving.
I'll say. Some people live there.
Thank you.
I'll wait till the oil on top. Yeah, that's